Do you have a slide deck or some such, Gurjeet?
Yeah, I have a slide deck. I can share that. Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
Tell me, how do you know Na? I'm like, that is such a small world. Interesting. So she went to Marquette. So I like after you sent me that message, I like went back and I saw her uh, LinkedIn profile. Like, where did she go? But she didn't go to University of Wisconsin, like Madison or something. But how did you guys cross paths?
So I had one friend who was in um UWM over there, and he used to live close to the Market University.
Uh,
And I think if I remember, it's been like many years, but probably they were like roommates or like close neighbors, kind of.
got it.
So yeah,
Got
but
it.
she's really good. She's motivating and like that.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of the best people who I met.
yeah,
Um, she's free therapy for me also. Just like, all the venting I will do for her. So like she honestly stood by me through this EB1 process. Because there's only you need a whole village to get you through this. Right?
right.
It's not just your lawyer, it's not just like whoever you're seeking EB1 mentorship from. It's also your friends, your spouse, your partner, anybody.
Mm.
Everybody together will get this done. Jeez, this is like a whole slide deck, Gurjeet. My gosh. With
Yeah, too
diagrams,
many things there. Like,
with
yeah,
diagrams. Oh my gosh.
I
How
think
many, like, how many slides is it though?
it's like 8 slides, 7 slides.
Okay. So we'll
Yeah,
start sharp at 5,
yeah,
and then you take it from 12:05 to 12:30, and then we'll open it up to questions.
sure, sure. So yeah, I think I will go a little bit fast on the slide and probably take 20 minutes. So hopefully we should be done in like half an hour.
Yeah,
Then we can take questions. And
that's great.
yeah, but yeah, I think it's a small word. Like I just
Yeah,
as you said, we need a lot of motivation for this. That's very
yeah,
true. Like
yeah,
the hard work is not just like hard work. It's has somebody has to motivate this so that we
100%,
do.
a
Otherwise,
thousand
very
percent.
difficult because there is a lots of ups and downs in this process. I faced in my process.
Yeah. So I put a post this week about this to plug your event, about this guy who had like a PhD and patents, and like the French government has given him awards, etc. And then USCIS said no. And so a person who I work with, one on one, reaches out and he says, Aditi, are you trying to scare us? Like, why are you doing this? So I'm like, listen, the person who's going to talk on Saturday, I'd kind of forgotten about your story. So didn't want to say it like it's a fact. But I'm like, the person who's speaking on Saturday has 26 patents, and his EP1B got RFI'd and then denied, was it? Or did you not never refile?
Yeah, it got annoyed and then we withdraw. So yeah, I think that's very important. Like people have so much strong profile and they have, I feel like everybody at my like 10 to 15 year or 20-year mark
Mm,
have done great work. It just how, and we need to show that work.
yeah,
That it's very difficult to, I mean, do that work and in that much of time, right? Like 10
yeah,
years, 15 years. But now it's a somehow we need to show that with the evidences, and USCIS likes evidences, like lots of evidences.
yeah.
So they don't care about our technical things, and so
They really don't. They really don't. It's on us to, you can't coast, is what it is. Like, you cannot just say, oh, yeah, I have these patents, I have cutting edge products. Of course, I'm hot shit. I'm going to get this. And then USDA is going to come back and say, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. So it's, yeah. But also, what I do want to acknowledge is how subjective USCIS is. Because here you have profiles like you who get NOID'd, and
hmm,
then I look at profiles who have received their EB1 and then I look them up online and I'm like, this went through? You're telling me this went through? You're telling me this convinced you that they are the top of their field? And I mean it in the most respectful way. Because I don't understand how a person like you gets RFE'd while a person like others are getting through. So it's not so much about your caliber, it is as much about how you're positioning yourself and the evidences that you're providing. So
Right,
just
right.
keep that in mind. That
Yeah.
USCIS is not IIT. USCIS is just very haphazard in the way it adjudicates cases.
Hmm. And in fact, like I tell people, like, we have we are the people trying to put the petition, then
Yeah.
we have the lawyers that do their work and try to, uh, put it in a legal way, put
Mm-mm-mm.
first the laws in that.
Mm-hmm.
There is a gap here that, we need motivation and what evidence to get and what should be. It's not a rocket science. When I gone through this process, I felt like it's a simple step by step, and
Mm-hmm.
we need to follow that. And we need a mentor or somebody or maybe a couple of people around to talk,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell us like, what, is it good? Should we add it or not? Does it
Yeah.
meet the criteria?
Mm-hmm.
And we should critically assess that, like USCIS manual for EB1s
Yeah.
to understand. And I'm these days, like what they are doing is they are literally quoting the paragraph from the USCIS manual to explain in the RFE.
Mm. The
Doing,
lawyers, you mean?
no, the USCIS, like when they're
Oh.
showing the RFE, they are literally quoting the paragraph from that manual, like showing
Yes.
that what you should give us and what you have given in the petition, what is
Mm-mm-mm.
missing.
Out of curiosity, how many people have read the USCIS manual? Anybody?
There should be a poll.
Yeah, I don't know how to do polls. Can
I
you? Oh,
think,
polls. Oh, yeah. Get a quick pulse check. Okay, all
yeah.
right. Have you read USCIS manual? Yes. Mhm. Wait, I'm making this poll so everybody can save and then launch. Let's see. Let's see. We are gonna start in 2 minutes. So take the poll. People can see the poll on their side.
There's a little pop-up on the screen.
There is a pop-up. Yes, I see. Ooh. I like that one person who's honest enough to say, what is a USCIS manual? I appreciate you. I was that person when I started.
Yeah. I voted.
Awesome. Yeah, read that. That's the source of truth. But you don't have to read the entire thing. I'll give you a shortcut. You can read this chapter, USCIS Policy Manual, chapter volume 6, part F, chapter 2. US Most folks will just read this laundry list that gives us absolutely nothing, and they just run off to lawyers and ask them, "Do I qualify?" But you are different. You've come to this call to become a pro. So this is how you become a pro. Read the chapter. It's going to give you a leg up. All right, folks. I do want to kick this off. Anil, Anirudh, Ankit, Anupam, Arvind, Astha, Bhaskar, Bhushan, Charan, Charmi, Dipti, hi, Divya. Divya Singh and Gurjeet Singh, are you guys related?
With Divya.
Ah, okay. Gandhimati. Hi, Gandhimati. Ganesh, Kapil, Kaustav, Kshitij, Lakshmi Tejasvi. Hi. Madan, Manas, Manish, Naresh. Hi, Naresh. Nikhil, Nitin, Pooja, Prashant. Hello, everybody. I want to read everybody's name. Priyanka, Rajat, Sandeep, Sanyogita, hi. Sashi, Chantan, Shakil, Shashank, Shruti, Sushma, Swapnil, Trupti, and Varun. Welcome, everyone. For folks who have already paid for the recording, you're going to get it immediately after. TopMate is going to send you. Folks who have not paid, at one point in time, I will upload this on YouTube. So don't hold your breath. I will upload it when I do find out the time. So in case you don't want to miss out on all the notes, I would open up a doc file and make some notes as Gurjeet is talking. I do want to hand it over to Gurjeet. Gurjeet reached out to me in the Slack community. If you're not a part of the Slack community, I'm going to drop the link over here. Join. We just crossed the 5,000 number mark, and this Slack community, I started it in 2022 to bring folks together, and it's turned out to be something really wonderful where you get to meet mentors, you get to meet other people who you can collaborate with. So Gurjeet and I, we started talking over there. Thankfully, he reached out to me and he said he's got his EB1 and he would like to have a conversation. He gave me a little glimpse of his profile, and I'm like, I need to talk to this person because he had a spectacular profile. But what really caught my eye was the fact that even with this profile, Gurjeet got a notice of intent to deny. If you think RFE is bad, my friend, welcome to the Noid world, where even before looking at your petition, USCIS is telling you that we have the intent to deny your case. Like, how how scary is that? So he had that happen to him when he applied for his EB1B. So then they rescinded that entire petition, and Gurjeet took control of his own petition and made sure that he did everything and then some to articulate the true impact of his work. Not doing new work, but just excavate whatever he had already done and make sure that he's articulating the work that he has done in a way that USCIS understands. And it's absolutely evident to the USCIS officer that Gurjeet Singh truly is a person of exceptional ability and that he has given us enough reason for us to believe that he's risen at the top of his field. So for the next 20 to 25 minutes, Gurjeet is going to present his profile, the strategies he has used, and after that, till 1 p.m., we're going to take questions. Good?
All good. Great.
Awesome, Gurjeet. Thanks for doing this. Over to you.
Thanks, Aditi, for this seminar. Let me present my um, PPT, what I have. So we will be talking like how we can build a strong profile here.
Gurjeet, can I request you to put this on full screen mode?
Okay, it's good now.
This is great. Yeah, thanks.
So, hi everyone. I'm Gurjeet. I'm a senior data scientist at Ericsson. I have worked in the industry for like 15 years now. And today we will be discussing about like how we can build a strong EB1 profile. And if you are AI ML professional, and I think that would be really helpful to you, but it can help other folks also for sure. And we will discuss about some strategies that I went through for the like organic EB1 petition development. And in the end, I will also give some tips to reduce the variability in the petition, so that you don't get RFE and get direct approval. And by the way, this is all non-legal advice. So to start with, to just give some idea about my journey, I came in US in 2009 and 2010. I got some award and worked in US in 2009. And from 2010 onwards, I'm here. I did my uh, BTech in India and then joined here as a PhD person trying to do PhD, got funding, and then later on converted into master's in biomechanics and tribology. So these two fields, electrical engineering and the biomechanics, are like way apart, but have some skills that can be used there. So I did MS in biomechanics, tribology, and later on I did AI/ML graduate certification from Harvard University. When I got my job, I logged my priority date in 2015 after a few years and went through lots of H1B, like 6 to 7 H1B due to extension, job change. And recently, in November 22, I came to know that the PhD is not required for EB1. So that was a very big sign for me. And then I started engaging with the lawyer, and uh, in January, I started discussing with the attorney, started working with them to get the petition ready. And I filed my petition in end of May, and in beginning of June, I got a big noid there, like and but in the note there was, when I read it, I found that my original contribution was accepted, authorship was accepted, but it was still a problem. Then I read my whole petition letter and all the evidences. Then I felt that there was some major flaws, like how it is being presented in that. And then, due to the officer statistics, we wanted to apply for it, like we wanted to respond to the NOID, but with full force. But with the officer statistics from the lawyer's end, I found that he had a very low approval numbers. So we withdrew the petition, and in July next month, I built my petition to build a strategy to refile the petition. And in the next 3 months, I completed my judging membership, and like uh, and also I, instead of going with EB1B, I went with EB1A, uh, with that, and I had critical role and the salary also with the EB1A. And I wrote my again the petition letter and added lots and lots of evidences, which is in depth. On the same side, I work to try to file for the EB1B internally, so that both the petitions can see each other and help each other. And in the end, I can see like which one is better. I can file that to reduce the variability from the officer side. So in October, the petition was ready, and but I was still not convinced that it can pass through without an RFE, or I might get some RFE. So I wanted to have a very low chances of getting RFE. So I worked for another 2 months, improved the petition and the evidences by keeping petition letter and the evidences side by side and making sure they correlate really well. And in December, I filed the EB1A, and within 2 days of petition receipt, I got the approval for the I-140. So that is how I got my I-140 approved for EB1A in 2023. Now I will talk about some of the things which I saw in these two cycles, going through the EB1B and A, and how things are related, and why USCIS wants these criteria. Why not something else they want to have? So I felt like this original contribution and the critical role is a centerpiece. Like we have to nail these two, or any of these two. And once we nail it, then all the other criteria can be fall close to that, or it's easier to get it. Like if you have an original contribution critical role, you can get for award, you can apply for award, you can get membership, you can apply for judging, and you will automatically get the authorship because you have some original work or critical role or something new you have developed. And due to the critical role, you can get a good salary, and plus the media also. And I have drawn some dotted lines to show some strategies here. Like if you have a membership, so that means you can be like, you become a membership of an organization. So you can be an assessor of that organization to assess some more fellow members. So you can do judging. That can fulfill your judging criteria. And if you are a membership, you can also go for the award in that organization. And also, if you are like some of the industry award, you may try to do the judging to understand how people apply and what kind of applications are submitted. Then you can go for awards um, in that organization also. So that is how you can build these things. And if you have authorship, So you can use that point to get the judging, like if you are reviewing journal papers or so, or conference papers. So if you have papers, that will help you to get the judging criteria. So that is how this is the connections between I found these criteria. Now let's decode the EB1A approval, like how the sequence goes here. So there are more criteria, but for our sake, for the technology, AI, ML professional, I have laid down only like eight of them here. There are two more for artistics. So the original contribution, critical role, authorship, judging is a strong criteria. That means if we nail it down, there's not going to be much argument from the USCIS, and there's not going to be much question. There can be something, but if you nail it well, you don't expect questions, too much questions there. But if you look at the membership, award, salary, media, they are called the weak criteria. So how much efforts you put, you can still get an RFE, or they can ask you some questions. So there can be, for the salary, a manager in a startup is different than the manager in a big company. Their salary might be different, right? So those kinds of arguments can come. So once you meet these criteria, or a particular number of like three criteria you meet from there, they judge you for the impact of your work. So what are the impact evidences you have shown for these criteria? And in the evidences also, there are two evidences. One is like soft and the hard evidences. Soft evidences can be letters, statements, and they can be biased also. So that's why it's not uh, we can say it's a soft. But the hard evidences or the objective evidences are the evidences such as numbers, metrics, documents, financial statements, or something which is like available online, like you freely, so you can access that. So they look at this part to define how much you have created an impact. Then in the final merit determination, which is the next step, and by the way, before going there, they feel that like there's still something is missing and you need to provide. You might can call for an RFE. You can get an RFE, and so that you can justify your criteria. And then if you are then we are going to the final merit determination. So the question they have in the mind is, are you internationally outstanding? Are you extraordinary ability? Do you have significant impact? And does your work went beyond your company or university boundary internationally? Do you have sustained in national, international acclaim maintained? That means that you are current as well as in the past you have that. So all these questions, they want to judge through the impact and the criteria we have provided. Based on that, if we met three and the answer to these questions is yes, we get the approval. But if they are just, they feel that you didn't met the final merit determination, you get annoyed there. Notice of intent to deny, that is what it means is that the officer has already made his mind to deny the application, but if you have more evidences to prove the officer wrong, provide it. And you have to go with the full force to provide that in that when you respond to that. So this is how we can look at the EB1A approvals or like criteria or final merit determination and how it can be helpful here. So now let's talk about like what are the criterias, like what are the things can be used in that. And I have written the things which I have provided plus the things which I think that should be provided if we are going to build an EB1A profile. And so in this, first of all, we brainstorm and identify the field. What is your field? And the field of endeavor. Field of endeavor is even narrower, because if you say like my field is AI, so my field would be like a field of endeavor would be AI application in robotics and autonomous systems, something like that. So if I worked in a different area, different field, so make sure all those fields converges so we avoid any RFE or confusion to the officer. So we have to bind those fields together in a way that we find our field really well. So that is very, very important. Once we nail it down, then we have to nail the original contribution there. And in original contribution, even if you look at the USCIS manual, there are like 4 different parts. One is the journal conference paper, like you are an author, and do you have any innovation in the work, patents, and the letters, support, testimony letters, expert letters that support. But still, these can be biased, and these are can be like soft evidences. So if you look at the authorship, so we want to show like how the work is used by the other scientists, researcher, engineers, and how the work has been extended and which location geographically or internationally it is being used. And we have to also show what is the impact factor, scope, aim and scope, circulation, and Google Scholar link, ResearchGate link. And so we want to show that a citation is there, it's just a number, but we need to show the impact of the work, not barely the citations will not fly here. And also like who cited your work, where they are they people of high profile? So we need to collect those evidences and provide that. And the innovation of work, it depends on your work. This is one of the crucial part here. So I can only say here that your work you should be providing lots of metrics, numbers. We cannot provide, say, I am great, I am outstanding, but we need to provide a scale 0 to 10 and where we stand on that scale. So those are the metric, profit, revenue, like from the company side or university side. So those some metrics we have to provide there. And regarding the patent, I have like 26 patents, but it doesn't mean that patent will fly. You can still get an NOID. And I got the NOID in the EB1B because we didn't justify those patents, the relevance, the critical, the significance of those patents. Uh, uh, so what I think and what I did in the second petition was how those patents are commercialized, how they are used inside and outside. Went to the USPTO website, found the patent reference document that is the government form examiner fills there, and what are my claims in my patent, and how the language of the claims is used in the other company work, like other outside companies. Sometimes they use the work, but nobody tell like we are using your work, right? You need to look at the language, what they are using. So I looked into that, and who cited it, which location, which industry, what was the impact of it? Does it impact it on the community, industry, right? And then if you can get a letter from your company or somebody at a higher level in the company saying that these are the evidences, and that is how somebody has used the patent or extended the work from the patent. And then if you can get a reference letter from some of the inventor outside your company who cited your patent, that would be great, but that's a difficult one. As I said, people don't say that we have used your work, your patent, because, and we are putting another patent. And then if you can show the impact to the US government, like how your work has impacted to the government, like it can be indirect, direct case. So in my case, I worked in the automated driving. So I showed like how it is impacting the government. So I went into the recall numbers of the vehicle from NATSA, showed where my feature is. Then some executive order from the government on safe AI, right? So I try to relate my work to that, and also presented some technical media about my work and the appreciation of the work. So this is about the original contribution, and that is how we need to nail this part. And if we go to the critical role, then we know that some job posting, we need to provide as evidence, responsibilities, and letters from the current companies and the past company, and showcasing any impact to the US government or the industries, and past employers letters with lots of metrics, how much profit, how much your work created. You need to provide that, and how it is impacting the industry as a overall, and also providing. So you have defined how you are critical to the organization, but you need to also define how critical your how distinguished your organization is, right? So you need to provide your company like some media coverage or some financial details and third-party media coverage and ranking of your company in your field, right? And then for the judging, in this, I reviewed like 25 journals paper, and usually like 10 to 20 is good enough. And in that, um, I reviewed from 4 to 5 different journals, and I made sure one of the journal is like a top journal, like top 10 journal. So in that way, you covered the depth as well as you covered the breadth. And I set up my profile on World of Science to get my reviews, peer reviews, blindfolded reviews verified automatically. So I can use that evidences. And then I went to the editors to get the letters, to get their letter, like why they chosen me, why they asked me for this paper, what is the general ranking, how it stands, and how my work relates. All those things they answered in a letter. And then again, review invitation, completion, review comments, all those emails I provided that. And then journal ranking, industry awards. I also went for 2 to 3 awards. And the evidences can be used here is the certificate, judge profile, and the comparable evidence. Like if you have other judge doing the similar thing, can you find somebody who is at the top level? So you can show that if that person is in the top 1%, so you should be in the top 1%. So that is the argument you can place here. So similarly, third-party media, emails like that. And USCIS like things from the third party, not from the same organization, like not from their website. They'll want to see something from outside. That is really beneficial in the application. And the authorship here, the things I talked about in the original contribution when I talked about the conference journal papers, so that is all we have to use here. The same thing here. We can do that. So again, like set up your ResearchGate profile, put all your paper, because the thing is, some papers are not visible. You need to upload it, make them visible so people can come and read it. Then you look at your statistics, which part of the country, where around the world they are reading it, what is their affiliation, which are they coming from, a research lab or university or industry, how they are using it. Try to find out that. That is how you can see what is the impact of your work, and your impact is how it is extended to other researchers or other communities. And the membership criteria, right? So I went for IIT, FIT, BCS, senior IEEE, but senior IEEE is just a complimentary. It's not going to help here. And the evidences you can provide is the bylaws, letter from the organization, selection process. What is the uniqueness about the membership? Does it contribute to the government, right? Is it in the industry? And you need to provide the names of the high profile members there and their organization, criteria, facts, and whatever you can provide, go in much detail on that, because this is a weak criteria. They can argue more on that side. In the award, it's similar to the evidences we say aside in the membership. Those can go here also. So I had like Globee Award, Henry Ford Technology Award, International Society of Biomechanics Award. Same evidences, letters, criteria, top profile, selection process, third-party media coverage, significance of the award. So all that I talked about the membership, same goes here. And for the salary, evidence from the third party. And you need to make sure when you're giving the evidence, make sure you're comparing your salary against the 90th percentile. If you do compare it to the mean or the average, that can be a red flag, and you can get an RFE or NOID also in that case. So don't ever compare with the mean when you're looking at these websites. And then company evidences showing the salary, bonus, or the things you get on your W-2. You can show their benefits just as a complementary. It's not going to affect, but comparing with the 90th percentile and how your salary stand for your location, where you are, so that matters here. So These are all the criteria I think that you can go for. I didn't go for the media. I had media of my work, but still didn't go for the media. But because media is also like a weak criteria, and there can be confusion like paid media or so. So I didn't go for that one. Now, the last part is of this presentation is that how you can reduce the variability in the petition to get a direct approval. We need to think in terms of a USCIS officer perspective. They don't have time, limited time. They have to review so many applications. If you are giving a petition for more than 1,000 pages, it would be very difficult for them to review each and every page. They will be taking lots of time in looking at where that evidence is, or where they need to look, and and they will think, are there any red flags in the application? Can I find the red flag first so I can, give the RFE or so? So you need to understand from the USCIS officer perspective and make the and we should treat them as a friend. They are here, they are there to help us, and we want to make their life easy. So in that way, I took this when I went for the second time, and when I took another 2 months. So read the USCIS policy manual. That's very important. Read the AOAs, read the RFEs, NOIDs. You can find this a lot online, right? And then arrange your petition letter, the evidence it properly, So if I'm looking at one line in your petition letter, if you making a strong statement, I need to see the evidence there itself. I should not be finding that evidence somewhere, or you don't miss out evidence for that. Then USCIS can say that you mentioned this, but you didn't provide it the evidence, right? And provide hard evidences, objective evidences as much as possible, and go in depth. Demonstrate your impact outside the company. USCIS does not care impact inside your company. It should be given outside the company and internationally. And then reduce any red flag when you're submitting the evidence. Make sure you are just submitting the relevant part, what you need to show. But sometimes it happens you don't want intent to show something and it just comes up. So don't be in that position. Remove unnecessary pages, evidences from your petition. As I said, make their life easy. Less searching, less confusion, easy to approve. They have things in mind. They want to see the impact. They want to see how you meet the criteria. And if you can nail it, that's good. So that's how you can reduce that part, and you can get approval. Ask multiple people to review your petitions, and ask them review in 30 to 45 minutes to ask, will they approve it? Do they think that you can take, there are lots of mentors here, they can review it and tell you, do they think it can be approved, or they are not able to find things in your petition and like that. Again, nail down your original contribution, critical role, provide in-depth evidences, right? So as I said, I found some project which was in joint venture with other company. So that means my work was going automatically outside the company. I provided recalls on the vehicle owner manuals, right, from different countries to show how the work went beyond the company, beyond the country, right? And how many vehicles were sold, financial statement, like all those details. And then use the evidences which are freely available to anyone. So that is high impact evidence. If you can find these kinds of evidences, which are anyone can read it, anyone can find it online. Brainstorm your evidences, build strategy, develop strategy, and iterate over it. Like how you have to go multiple times to understand, how you can be more effective. And now own your petition. That is very, very important. Don't solely depend on lawyer that they would do the job. In this case, you need more motivation. You can contact mentors or talk to people, and just own your petition, do things and understand. If you should be fully satisfied when you are and confident after reviewing, when you are going to submit your petition. You have to be fully satisfied. You should not feel that, oh, I could have done something, or I should have done this or that. If you have not certified, do that and then submit. Take your time, because you can get an RFE that will take a lot more time to respond and get more evidences. And then lastly, don't hide any evidences. So there are a couple of strategies which lawyers take. Sometimes lawyers don't give all the evidences. They give the evidences, they feel that, oh, we will get an RFE and then we will give those evidences. But it's just like you're inviting things in a way that you know, like um, you want like more, like 2 more months or more months to again get evidences, put them together. And also from the attorney will charge you another some fees for that. You will be putting your time, energy. So why we wait? We just put all together in a polished way, very, very polished way. Getting the evidences, having a good profile is all good, but putting it together in a right way in for the petition to get approval is more important here. So that is why I think that's relates to the point which Aditi made in the beginning. So thank you so much, everyone. You can also talk to me in these two, LinkedIn or TopMate, for any questions, and we can take questions, and I can hand it over to Aditi.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Gurjeet. I really loved how you went from strategy to tactics, giving us clarity on the relationship between the criteria and helping us understand those like linkages, which was very important. And the last slide, I hope you took a screenshot, everybody, because everything that Gurjeet is talking about, everything that I talk about, everything that other EB1 recipients talk about, it's not a vapid advice. These are things in which we have been burnt, and we are going back and we are teaching our past selves that, hey, if I have to do EB1 all over again, what are the things that I would look out for? And that's the reason why it's so important to talk to multiple people. And if you do want to talk to other folks who have their EB1s, this is the Slack community. I'll put it up there. Gurjeet also talked about the importance of reading AAO cases, and these 4 or 3 guys from, I think, Nigeria, they went up for their EB1s and they built such a cool tool which distills the AAO cases for you. So it's just a AI search away. So if you want to use that tool, I've put that in the chat as well. We're going to go into questions. Akshay, I can already see your hand up. We'll get to you. We have till the top of the hour to ask all questions to Gurjeet. I would request you to keep it to one question per person, and we'll take as many questions as possible. No question is stupid, no question is small. Fair game for you to ask any question. So, Akshay, we'll start with you and then we'll go through the list.
Hi Aditi, thanks for taking this session, and thanks Gurjeet for your awesome presentation. So my question was like I'll be starting my PhD next year in data science. So this is like very initial stages for me. So it'll be like better to know what tips you have for me and what should I go ahead with, or just general information.
Yeah, I think what I mentioned here in the slide, right? This original contribution, you need to nail it down, like that one. So when you're focusing on your PhD, right, you make sure you are getting your work published, and you are keeping track of it by creating profile on ResearchGate, World of Science, um, um, and I think there are some more, uh, like some websites are there, you can make your profile. So, and make your work public so people can read it, give you feedback, and you keep track of that, right? And then naturally from there, you can build your other things like memberships, award, uh, all those things, but maybe not the salary. But yeah, I think it would be good. By the time you complete your PhD, you will have a very strong things in your hand. And for my case, like, I have spent 15 years just building this part. These parts just came automatically after that. So that's what I can advise you.
Yep. Thank you. And
Perfect.
yeah, hopefully Aditi, you keep on doing these sessions. So maybe during my PhD, this will help too.
Yes,
Thanks.
do it. You're so far ahead in the game. Keep at it. Anish, we'll move to Bhushan and then come back to Anish if he's still around.
Sure. So thanks, Aditi and Gurjit. This is really awesome presentation, and what you do for community is really awesome. So my question is, you said that media is a weak pillar into this. So what in your knowledge, what are the strong pillars? If media is a weak, what are the other strong pillars?
So in my slide here, so if you look at these four, these are the strong pillars for sure. That means the USAI does not come often to give any argument on that. If they have put it together well, it should be fine. But you can get vague uh, questions in the RFE, right? About the membership. Is it internationally? I don't know what's the organization, right? For the award, similarly, the organization and like media, why I said it, because uh, why somebody would be interested in putting your are you doing something for the country or the industry, right? Are you on CNN, CNBC, right? That if that thing happens, that's great, go for it. But usually like company have their own structure, and they try to get the media, or so it's like there's a thin line there in boundary, so that we need to say like how we can navigate. But there's nothing wrong. We can definitely go for it. Yeah. It just we have to put lots good evidences there to convince, because this game is all. I mean, this EB1 thing is all about convincing, answering these five questions in the end. That is where the the approval can come from. Yeah.
God, thanks, Gurjit.
Mhm.
Perfect. Sanyogita?
Hey, hi Aditi, hi Gurjeet. So my name is Sanyogita. I work for Ford, so I have a bit of a Ford specific question. I saw you have the Henry Ford Award, so I was wondering how did you go about, getting that award, and also like, will that be something that, did it satisfy your awards criteria, or was that still in the weak criteria of your, I think,
Right,
profile?
right. I think that's a very good question, and I think I can answer it little bit here, and maybe we can take it offline because it's very specific to the company. So when I went for the first time, I got in questions on that because the evidences which we have provided and how it was articulated, it was not articulated well, and the evidence is not provided well. Then when I went again for the second time with the same award, because some people believe that it's a company award only, but if you look at more details, they have given awards to researchers, scientists, professors from 1985, 1990, around that they have given those awards at that time. So this award is purely international, and I came up with those evidences later on to justify that. So yeah, I think we can talk about this because it's very specific to the company.
Sure,
So
sure.
if you like, we can talk on TopMate or LinkedIn something. Yeah, in
Sounds good.
more detail. Mhm.
Thank you.
Sure.
For awards, a side note, the reason why Gurjeet has mentioned, and I think this clarity is extremely important. Awards, when we say about weak criteria, it's not weak per se that it's not going to move the needle. It's weak in terms of its ability to withstand the objections of a USCIS officer. So for critical role, it's very binary, but you are critical or you're not. Original contribution, it's original or it's not. It's major or it's not. But when you're talking about awards, there is boot camp that I took after getting my EB1 through the Sophie Alcorn boot camp. And she talks over there about how awards like 40 under 40 or emerging researcher or the top new PMs, red flags, because USCIS is going to come and say, well, if it's 40 under 40, what about the other people over 40? Which means that you were not compared to everybody in the field. If you are emerging, USCIS is going to come and say, come back to us when you have emerged. We are not here to assess potential. We are here to assess if you're an expert today. So there's a whole bunch of objections that you can get in these criteria that make you more vulnerable. So keep that in mind as you're claiming these criteria. Would you agree to that, Gurjeet?
Yeah, definitely. I think you were spot on that, how you framed it's binary, right? Yes or no. It's easy. But when we get the RFEs and when we read those RFE in these, I would encourage everyone to read lots of RFE, by the way. So when we look at these criteria, the weak ones, right, you will see the question which USCIS come and ask, like, you will feel that, oh, it might be vague, they can ask tons of information, and and also, like, we have the burden of proof, like we have the burden, they have. Whenever you read these lines, you will see in the end they write, we petitioner has a burden of proving it or providing the evidences, you know so these are difficult to justify that, but I this is how it is. The whole thing is evidences, provide as much evidences, hard evidences, in much detail. Try to brainstorm with other people, understand where are the things you can improve on or add to things. So that would really help in your petition, right? Don't rely on the letters, by the way. Those can be biased and so, but hard evidences.
As Gandhimati is asking the question, I'll put a link in the chat when Guruji talked about burden of proof. What does it mean and where you can go to learn about it. So Gandhimati, go for it.
Hi, Aditi and Gurjit. Thanks so much for the session. I'm actually a third year PhD student, and when I see like the criteria, this is something that I've been looking on for quite some time. I have like membership from Honor Society, which is international and only invitation basis, and I have did some publications, and some papers are in the process of getting published in peer reviewed. But I'm right now the biggest confusion is whether I should wait until I get a job and then apply for EB1A, even if I have, like met some of the criteria to build my profile stronger, or would it still be like I'm not sure if I would be too weak if I am a student, when I'm applying. So that's something that it would be nice if I get some idea on that.
Right. No, I think it's a great question which you have asked. See, because I have already spent like 10, 15 years in the country, right? So I want to get it fast. So I went two petitions in 1 year, right? So, and I did a lot of learning by my own here by doing it. So I can suggest is that, if you are able to answer these 5 questions, right? Final merit determination. If you think that you are, everything is yes from here, right? From these 5 questions, definitely go and file it. And if you feel that you are in borderline, you can still file it, right? And don't worry about like you get a, RFE also whatever, right? It's a process of learning, right? You can again refile it. There is no much disadvantage. Oh, how they will see my petition? What will happen? Will they track everything? Don't think in that way. Just file it if you are able to answer these 5 questions, and then see what are the things and improve on it. But if you are just, I would not suggest that. If you feel that you file it and you got the RFE and you feel that, these questions are still like I don't know what to do, and you still file again, right? And so that would be not good. You need to improve and then file it. at least have some steps you have to take in the improvement process, and then file it. But yeah, don't worry about like thinking that how it will be taken up or so. But you can do that. In my case, like I filed once, then the second time I build like two petitions on side to make sure, because my thing is like if this does not go, I will go for this one. Whatever learning I get it from this one, I will use in the second one. So that is how the thing is. Mhm.
Great, thank you.
Naresh?
Oh, I'm not. I'm talking on mute. Sorry. Aditi and Gurjit, thanks for the session. I have one simple question. So, is it reviewing the books, technical books, add any value in this process?
Yeah, definitely. I think, uh, can you maybe
Yeah.
mute? Hearing my voice back again. So yes, definitely it can help you. Um, I can tell you why I didn't do the books. I had some opportunities, but I felt like it will take more time because I'm not good at reading things, right? So I didn't go for that. But you need to just make sure these things. It should be peer reviewed if you have a blindfolded, right? And what book we are reviewing is a big publisher, or how big is the circulation of the book, right? Is the book the chapters are in your field or not, right? So you need to be very carefully assessing those things. And for me, like it was easier to get the journal papers because once you review few papers, you will automatically get more papers to review. So, and what is the impact of it? And it clearly fell into the guidelines of that, but it's all, you can go for the books also, and people have done it, like reviewing books in the past. And like if you can author some book, that would also help you later on, also, as a like monetary wise, also financial wise, also it can help you later on. You get the approval plus the financial benefits in that. Mhm.
Thanks,
Perfect.
Gurjit.
Yeah.
Putting a
This
link
is
in
Bhaskar
the
here.
Slack. This is the same question somebody asked. You'll see that there's another person. I'm gonna refer some names to everybody over here. Himadri Doma. He was a quality assurance engineer who not only reviewed papers, but he reviewed courses coming out of his field of endeavor. And then there is Dushyant Singh Sengar, who had a very corporate banking background in AI, and he wrote a book, and he got his book reviewed from two people who are now going up for their EB1. So, for what it's worth, all of this matters. It's important, but like Gurjit said, how you package it to demonstrate to the USCIS officer that it's extraordinary is equally as important. Lakshmi Tejasvi.
Hi Aditi and hi Kuchi. Thanks for this presentation and it's really helpful. So the question that I have today is mainly related to the software engineers. I believe majority of the members who signed up are also software engineers. The biggest struggle point for me is when I look at this all criteria and I'm working towards it. Like I totally agree with you on like nailing down on the original contribution plus critical role. But in terms of original contribution, do you have any suggestions like for especially on the software side? Like the biggest thing is when you're working on a project, you're working with so many other people, and it's really hard to say that like that's your original contribution. You're like tied up as a team. But if you're working outside your team and like on a project, not always software engineer is good at writing also. So publishing papers or writing journals maybe not like the way. Like in this case, how do you actually like any tips and tricks for people can nail down that original contribution criteria for software engineers who are not good at writing research papers or
Mhm.
uh, not have that PhD background. That's the struggle point for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's another great question, and I can totally feel that. And I can tell you that lots of software engineers, lots of project program managers, like they are getting EB1A. So don't think. I think we need to think differently, or you need to change your thinking style to complete a project or something you're putting in production, right? It's not done by a single person. It has to be done by the whole team to do it.
Yeah.
You have to just find out the contribution you are making, how it is unique, right? And for example, like in the from the research side, if I say we write papers and we read papers, when we read paper, we take the paper from somebody else and see what they have done, make some changes, and publish another paper. It's like some baby steps we take. So it's not like a completely original, like foundational thing we are building, right? It's something on top of what other person has done. So similarly, if you have done something unique, right, you find out that part and then relate with the impact which the whole project is getting, which is outside the company, going outside, right? So that you need to do. And I feel the first point, change, don't feel that your work is not original contribution, not unique. You need to, secondly, you need to brainstorm your project, maybe find a mentor or somebody, because lawyers, I mean, they don't have time. So you need to brainstorm that. You will be able to find it, I can tell you. And then basically you find what kind of evidences that can be needed, and that would be very unique to your case. And I feel like all these EB1s, every profile is unique. We think that we copy paste some evidences. You can somebody can paste, check it, take it from my and do it. It's not going to work, because in my case, some criteria are weak for me, some criteria are strong for me, right? But we also don't know, USCIS officer knows that part, because right, we got direct approval. They didn't send any explanation like why which criteria I met or so. So the story is different for different person, and profile and project, they are all different. So I think a lot of brainstorming that is needed, and plus change the thinking. Don't feel that like that your work is not unique or something. It is just as me thinking that I don't have PhD, how I can file EB1.
No, I think the biggest confusion that I always get is like, how do you distinguish as a software engineer, how do you distinguish between like the original contribution on your work versus the critical role that you are having on the project? That
Yeah.
seems like a fine lines between how you show. Yeah, that's where I'm coming from. Yeah.
Right, right. Critical role is that something you are impacting to the company, right? The work you are doing, how it is critical to the company. So that is how, like, how it is critical. So when you get the letter from the your organization head or VPs or directors, right? So they tell like how your role is critical. So you look at your job responsibilities, your job role, your job posting. It will tell like this person is going to be hired for this, and he'll be doing for that, and this would be the responsibilities, right? So and what you have done and what you are currently doing. So those things have to be like given in much detail. So like for example, I have like three letters, one from the current employer, two from the past, and all letters were like 4 or 5 pages, or one was like 6 or 7 pages also, to go in depth and talking about the impact, the metrics they provided.
Mhm.
So that is about how critical your work is or your job is for the company. So
Okay.
then you relate, because these letter will relate to the industry, like how your work is important to the industry, right? And to the, like, again, it comes back to these 5 questions which I was showing, how it answer that, because in the end, this is all it matters for all the criteria. If you are doing original contribution, do you have to answer these critical role, answer these for all of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Got it.
Awesome.
Thank
I
you
know
for
we're
being
at
into.
the top of the hour. Folks, if you need some more inspiration, like thinking creatively, what are some of the success strategies? This is a Excel sheet that I have collected where I've asked people like Gurjeet to tell us in succinct detail which criteria they applied for, what is the evidence that they showed. That may give you some ideas. Look across all the rows and see if you can see some trends, and that can inspire you to start thinking in a different way. And don't lose faith. It's almost like you've played cricket all this while, and now we're asking you to play soccer. You're still a good sports person. You're just learning the rules of the game differently. So don't lose faith. I know we're at the top of the hour. We only have room to take one more question. I'm going to give it to Nitin. For Ashna, Prashant, Anish, Charan, Bhaskar, and Kapil, you know how to find Gurjeet, so please go ahead and find him and ask your questions to him at that time. Nitin, you have the last question. Nitin is not here, so we are going to go to Aishna.
Hi, Aditi. Thanks for doing this. And Gurdeep, thanks to you as well. My quick question is that I know that I have a critical role in my company. I work in a bank, and my previous employer, where I interned, I also did some critical work, which I can show easily. But my question is that I have also worked with at least 5 startups in India who have raised around $6 million very recently. How can I use the work that I have done with that because that's outside my current work? How can I use that work to show my impact for EB1A?
So I think you are in great shape. Look like what you talked about. You have like your work went beyond your current company, right? It went to like, and you work with different employers. So that's good because more number of employers you have worked that demonstrated how your impact, the breadth of the impact, right? It's there in different your field. Your knowledge, you have applied your knowledge in a different way there. So like those things you can get a letter from them, the evidences from them, right? And take the letter from the people who are at a high level, and try to be more descriptive in that, use lots of metrics, numbers, and how you have contributed to that work, right? Try to show that. Don't go too much in details of your project, like if you are very technical, but just go a little bit, but give the metric, very heavy on the metric, like the numbers, that you provide. And so it we you like it's like doing it in a way without saying that, you put everything in front of the officer, uh, without saying that you are outstanding. So just by looking at those numbers, they can say you are outstanding.
Got
It
it.
should be in that way. It should be written without using words like that, right? But
So
I
a letter here would be sufficient because said that letter can be biased as well. Uh,
see how it goes is that when letters, as I said, right, these are the soft evidences. But for critical
okay.
role, yes, because the thing is the letter is coming from that employer, right? They
Mhm.
have to write their address, their name, and email, and all that details. They need to write it, and it should be on the letterhead, right? Because it's coming from. So it is a good evidence there. But when they're writing the letter, right, you made a statement there, and with that statement, you can give an evidence in the footer of that letter, or you can have another evidence attached in that critical role, right? So you need to make sure that whatever they are saying, it has to be supported somewhere, and how it should be supported by evidence. So that will make more. It will make it more better. It would not be looking like a bias or the. I mean, it's already coming in a letterhead from the company, and because later on, if you read some AOs also, right, it's in the very very rare cases. Like I've seen that sometimes they can go after that, ask like, have you written this letter or so. But it's very very rare it happens. But it is already like authenticated when it is coming from that company, but still provide lots of evidences.
Again, a cross question. I will also reach out to you personally. But if I have attained certain media regarding this help that I've given to the startups, but it is only in the print media and not digitally available, would it be some weightage here?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. We can discuss more on that. Like
Okay.
we can like exactly what the content is, because sometimes if it is not going to your field or not helping you, it's not worth it. Like I had my name in 17 newspaper in India when I was doing my undergrad, but I didn't use that part. So we have to see the content of that too.
Okay. Yeah. Thank
Awesome.
you so much.
Thanks so much, everybody, for making time to learn. And thank you, Gurjeet, for your time and your effort in putting the slide deck together and for sharing your expertise. Any final words of advice as people leave this call?
Yeah, I think thank you so much, Aditi, for this seminar, and thank you everyone for asking these great questions because these are very important. So my piece of advice is that like I went for two petitions, EB1B and then EB1A, and these are my findings, which I'm just showing here on my screen. That uh, having a good profile is one thing, having great work is one thing, but now proving it out, showcasing it out, and putting in a right way to the officer so that you get a direct approval and don't get RFE, that's another thing. And one last point here is lawyers are very busy doing these things. They don't have the time to go over each and everything. Mistakes happens in that, and to get these evidence or do the things, you need to own your petition. And you, in this phase, if you need something which can be like motivation, mentorship, or make a friend circle or somebody, just go and talk, you need to have that kind of circle so that it gets you going. Because I feel this is a 1 year process maximum. If you build it right, you will be able to get it through. There are criterias, there are things people do. Do they overkill some of the things, like they do too much, too less? So there has to be some balance. So that is where like these mentors or like lawyers can help in that, and especially this our Slack group, Aditi, and we are all here to help in that case.
Awesome. Thank you so much, folks. Gurjeet, I hope you have a good weekend. Everybody else also have a good weekend. I know you're hungry. I don't want to make you hangry. The next session, we'll figure it out when it happens. But thanks again for making time. Oh, you know what? I know when the next session is happening. October 19th. With an immigration lawyer, and that's going to be focused on something called comparable evidence. So I'll let you chew on that. But for now, thank you again for making time, and thank you, Gurjeet, for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank
All
you,
right,
everyone.
take care. Bye.